So the housing market has changed dramatically. Mortgages have changed dramatically in the last 6 months or so. So it's a good opportunity for me to talk you through what's changed, what's new, how 2023 is lining up, how much deposit we're going to need, and what the deal is for 2023. So let's go. Now, firstly, if you are a first-time buyer, then you are going to want to subscribe to the channel because I've got big news coming in the next couple of weeks. I've got something very special that I've been working on for a very long time, just for you. It's going to come along in the next couple of weeks, so be sure to subscribe to the channel because you are not going to want to miss it. So welcome everyone, my name is Adam, I'm an expert mortgage broker. Today we're going to talk about the market and deposit and savings and things, getting on the ladder, making that first step. So if you find today's video useful, also, subscribe to the channel. We do one of these at least every week if we can. So let's start at the beginning then. Let's talk about savings and how much we're going to need. We'll talk about how much we're going to need in a minute, but first of all, I've got a few little tips for you to try and maximise your savings. This is kind of how we work things, how I've done it in the past, and the advice I give to any customers that we get that's starting out that journey. So the first, I think, is have a few different accounts. So an account where your salary goes in, your income goes in, however you get paid, that's where your income goes in, and then that's probably the best place to have all of your bills come out as well. So we have a separate account for money going in, bills coming out. Then we need a little bit of a fund for some fun. We need some spending money each month, don't we? We can't live, we can't stay in and not do anything for however long it takes us to save up. We've got to have a life as well, but we need to be strict with ourselves. So we need a little bit of spending money, and then everything that's left at the start of the month, do this at the beginning of the month when you get paid, or the end of the month when you get paid, and then anything that's left after that is your savings. That needs to go away somewhere where you're not tempted to touch it. It needs to go into a whole different account. So you've got your spending money, and then you've got your bills money, all set up ready to go at the start of the month, and anything extra gets saved. The next thing is, and this isn't a very popular one, but it's be strict. You've got to be strict with yourself. Do you want to get onto the property ladder? If the answer is yes, then it takes a little bit of commitment. If you are saving a little bit each month, it's going to take you a long time. You need to be strict with yourself. Do you need the extra takeaways, the extra meals out, the nights out, all that sort of stuff? Don't get me wrong, those things are all cool, but if you're thinking, actually I want to get on the property ladder, then that is absolutely the right thing to be thinking, but it takes some commitment. You've got to prioritize that. And I'm not saying don't do anything. I've just said have a little bit of spending money each month, but just have a little bit. That's the hard thing, but it is going to be worth it in the end, I promise. Okay, so a couple of tips there. Now we need to get to 5% deposit. So we need 5% of our purchase price. What is that purchase price, to hear you ask? So let's have a look at some examples. So I've got some examples that I'm going to run through. I'll try and sort of put them on the screen as we go along. Now, to get a rough example of where we're going to be, if you're a fairly simple income, if you've got income and not too many loans and credit cards and things and children, if you're fairly straightforward, sorry if you can hear the dog there crying, so if you're fairly straightforward, then you're going to be kind of 4.5 times your income roughly. So if you take your joint income together and times it by about 4.5, then that is roughly the amount that you're going to be able to borrow. So that's going to be your mortgage amount, and then we have the deposit on top. So let's say that takes us up to about £200,000, 4.5 times your income. Then you're going to be buying for a little bit more than 200,000. That's going to be 95% of your purchase price. So we can buy with 5% deposit. Obviously, the more deposit you've got, the better, but we can buy with 5% deposit. So that's going to give you a ballpark. Now let's work through some examples then. So let's start with that house that we've just said. So if we're going to buy a house for £200,000, 5% deposit is 10,000. Now if we have a house at 200,000 and a deposit of 10, we need a mortgage for the rest, and the rest is going to be £190,000. So that is going to be our mortgage amount. So to borrow £190,000, we probably need need to earn in the region of 45, let's say 45,000. Now that's between you, so hopefully there's two people or there's one person on that sort of salary. So if there's two of you on sort of early 20s each, that's typical sort of starting salary these days. Depending what you do, let's not get into all of that on here, but that these should be fairly achievable for most people that I come across. So kind of early 20s each, or sort of 45-ish. That's going to get you that house at £200,000. Now the monthly payments on that, I'm going to give you some monthly payment figures. This is based on like today, so it's very important to stress that not everyone is going to get this kind of interest rate, not everyone is going to be able to borrow this much. It's very, very important to get your own proper advice to work out your exact affordability and what it's going to cost. This is not advice in any way, shape or form, and rates change all the time, but I had a look this morning, and if you had 5% deposit, the interest rate is going to be kind of around 5.5%. There's some that are a little bit lower, there's some that are a little bit higher, but I've worked on that. So monthly payment for that mortgage on that house, £190,000 mortgage over 35 years, was about £1,050. No, £1,030. Sorry. So in that sort of ballpark. Now, not everyone is going to be able to do a 35-year term as well. It depends on your age and your retirement age and things. This is just broad brush figures. Next example then, let's go up a little bit. Let's house at £300,000. So house at 300, 5% deposit on that is going to be 15,000. So that then needs a mortgage of 285. So if you want to borrow 285,000, you're going to need to earn about 65-ish, so another 20 between you. So two of you on sort of 30 or so, that's going to get you to where you need to be. Now monthly payments jump up a little bit on that, so same interest rate, 5.5%-ish, same term, 35 years. We're more like 1,500, 1,550 per month, something along those lines. So obviously stepping up the ladder a little bit, stepping up the price range, stepping up the payments, but if you can afford that extra mortgage, you should be able to afford the extra payments. Now, let's look at a house at 400,000. So if we have a house at 400, we need 5% deposit, so that's 20,000, which leaves us a mortgage of £380,000. Again, 5.5%, 35 years. That's going to be something like 2,050, 2,060, something along those lines. So, getting higher, that's a reasonable monthly payment, isn't it, per month? But house at 400,000, that's a reasonable house. Okay, last example then. So I've done a house at 500,000. So this is quite a purchase, for a first-time buyer buying at £500,000. That's quite a feat. It doesn't have to be a first-time buyer though. Obviously, this video is applicable for anyone. So 5% deposit. It's £25,000. So that gives us a mortgage then of 475. So we've got a £475,000 mortgage on a £500,000 house. Again, 5.5%, 35 years. Monthly payment's going to be kind of 2575 officially, as what I worked out this morning. Very rough figures, depends on your situation, but there's some examples there for you of what you might be able to expect. So what I want to know is, how does that compare to renting in your area? Have a look on Rightmove and see, what sort of property that might get you, and then what that might rent out for. And I bet at the moment it would still be cheaper to buy. So if we can get that 5% deposit, it's going to be cheaper to buy your own property than it is to rent one. So we're going to talk a little bit more about, rates and things and some different options if you're buying a first property over the next few weeks, and do some more videos for first-time buyers. So stay tuned for those. In the meantime, if you want to know anything more, if you want to know a little bit more about us, you can go and visit our website. There's a link in the description below. If you want to book an appointment with us straight in our diary, it's completely free to do so. There's a link in the description to do that as well. So we'll look forward to speaking to you very soon. If not, I'll see you on the next video. Take care.